So I'm thinking about the term radical Muslim terrorism or radical Islam, and I'm reflecting on what that must do to non-radical Muslims. And I'm thinking about the way that it's used and the very subtle impact that it has on non-Muslims as they think about Muslims, because there is this association. Now, those that use the term will use the term and they'll justify their use of the term because of the qualifier radical. And because they use the word radical, their justification is we're not marginalizing all of Islam. We're just pointing out this fringe group that is radicalized and they happen to practice this particular faith. But in the West, we don't refer to skinheads, right-wing fundamental radicals, Ku Klux Klansmen, white supremacists as radical Christian terrorists. Even though that's what they are, we don't call them radical Christian terrorists. We call them white supremacists, or, by whatever group they, the Patriots of whatever, Michigan Militia, whatever name they happen to use. Again, the argument could be made, well, a lot of these groups don't have a name. They don't have a sub-name. We call Al-Qaeda Al-Qaeda. We call Hamas Hamas. But if you listen to the media, and if you listen to the very subtle racist ploy that happens, those groups are often categorized under the umbrella of radical Muslim terrorists. And I'm reflecting and I'm appreciating the kind of effect that has on my Muslim brothers and sisters that are not radicalized, that practice the faith the way that the Prophet and the four fathers that followed the Prophet in the expansion and in the growth and in the spreading of their doctrine of love, of reverence for the one God, and serving the poor. And there are millions of individuals that espouse the core principles and beliefs of Islam that are marginalized when when their faith is lumped in with this small portion of a subgroup of a subgroup of a sect that gets a lot of the attention because of their violent acts to promote an agenda that is not consistent with the tenets of Islam. Even the term jihad, in its original conception, was not a violent act. Jihad is the struggle. It's the struggle against self. It's the struggle against temptation and indulgence in materialism over a life of sacrifice and devotion and reverence. And the term has been co-opted and manipulated and altered over time to now represent these violent terrorist extremist acts. And that's not what it's meant to do. So I want to call upon all peoples that are striving for a peaceful coexistence, especially for my brothers and sisters that consider themselves to be true disciples of Christ. Espouse Christ's teaching of love and embracing, and don't fall into the trap of even using the term radical Muslim terrorists, because it's not fair to our brothers and sisters that are practicing true Islam and are striving for a peaceful coexistence under and in and a part of the reverence of the one God. Practice love.